Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and I don't know what this means, but Google has removed the Bitcoin price. I believe used to, if you type that in, it'll come up. And this person says Ethereum doesn't show up either. I'm sure Gary Gensler must have made the call to Google and said, here's what you're going to do, because that's how the Google rolls. eGrag Crypto, linear regression time and target projections. Let's skip all the boring stuff and go down here. He's got numbers anywhere from $1.85 to $9.30 right there. $16, $27, $12 to $20. All of those look exciting to me. Look, I'm this next run, I'm hoping for at least 20. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Okay, I showed you this, the XRP Unleashed documentary. People are, the film crew is going to be at these locations at these dates. They're going to be doing private it's a screening tour, and they're going to be doing it in all these cities right here. So as we lead up to that, since ETHgate's going to be a big part of it, I thought it'd be appropriate for me to start showing you some of the old videos we had put together in the lead up. Here's one of them. I'll just show you one today. This is about, well, first let's go over this timeline. 2014, Bill Hinman, Jay Clayton take Alibaba public. 2016, SEC investigation into Alibaba. 2017, Hinman and Clayton lead the SEC. 2017, U.S. denies Alibaba deal to buy MoneyGram. 2018, Hinman ETH free pass speech. 2019, Ripple announces partnership with MoneyGram. 2019, Hinman launches SEC investigation into Ripple. 2020, Clayton files a lawsuit against Ripple. Clayton and Hinman leave the SEC. Watch this.
We're ready to launch the roadshow.
This is the Alibaba Roadshow. There's Bill Hinman's law firm.
Okay, so let's kick off.
This is the schedule again. We're in Hong Kong, right, Joe? On the holiday.
So we're asking people to come to break their holiday into two.
Then we end up in London, and then we fly back to the States.
So you go
for its IPO.
Could be the biggest IPO ever. We'll see what kind of market cap it generates.
Opens at 92.7.
The digital payments arm of Chinese e-commerce giant Alibaba has offered to buy the U.S.-based MoneyGram for $880 million. MoneyGram has agreed, but the deal needs regulatory approval from the U.S. Committee on Foreign Investment. MoneyGram is the second largest provider of money transfer service in the world. Ant Financial has more than 630 million users. The CEO of Ant Financial says if the merger succeeds, it will bring people around the world greater access, security, and simplicity to remit funds.
The first high-profile Chinese deal blocked under Donald Trump. On Tuesday, a U.S. panel rejected the $1.2 billion sale of money transfer company MoneyGram to Ant Financial, owned by top execs of Chinese tech titan Alibaba. The panel cited worries over national security on data that may be used to identify U.S. citizens. The deal's collapse is a blow for Alibaba head Jack Ma, who aimed to expand Ant's reach abroad as competition gets fierce over payment services in China.
U.S. intelligence head asked the SEC to investigate Chinese control over crypto.
MoneyGram owns about 5% of the global remittance market. How will this deal work?
Emily, it's great to be back. Thank you. The deal is a big step, I think, for Ripple, but it's even a bigger step for the overall industry. As you know well, there's been a lot of excitement around what blockchain and what digital assets and crypto can mean for the industry. And I think it's the reason why players like Facebook are diving in also. But we haven't yet seen much beyond experimentation. And at Ripple, I think we are the market leader because we have matured aggressively and we're really solving real problems for real customers. MoneyGram is just the manifestation of that. And as the second largest global remittance company, we're able to have a big impact with one customer and one partner in this.
There's Billy Boy Hinman right there.
Opens at 92.70.
Introduced myself earlier. I'm a kid from Kansas who, wears red, white, and blue on the 4th of July. The United States, look, I'm sure this is probably being streamed and recorded, but I'll do something I rarely do.
Disclaimer.
I rarely do this when I'm being recorded. The United States is fucked.
Okay, and then there's this. This is Trump talking about the dollar as the world reserve currency.
We are for the last 3 or 4 years. We're going to lose all of that. We're going to also lose the sanctity of the dollar. People aren't going to rely on the dollar. And they're going to do that. They're going to all come back. And if they don't rely on the dollar, then I'm not going to let them sell into the United States. I'm going to tell them, look, if you're not going to rely on us as the currency of choice, then you are not going to be able to do business in the United States. You know what they're going to say? I love the dollar very much, every single one of them, because we are losing that. China is trying to take that away from us. And I'll say, by the way, I'll say the same thing to China. Like I put a 27.5% tariff on cars from China. So they haven't been able to pillage our country and close up our factories and lose our jobs. Otherwise, they'd be selling cars in here like hotcakes. And if you take a look at what they're doing to Europe, China is destroying the automobile business of Europe.
So I'm just trying to understand how you're going to pay for all of this no tax on stuff. And you said that there's a lot of fat in government that you're going to save money.
I gave you an answer, growth. We're going to grow at a level that you've never seen before.
Okay.
And we're going to have tremendous jobs, and we're going to have companies coming in left and right, and they're going to be building factories. They're going to take over empty hulks that are all over the place from companies that...
All right. Here's from Black Swan Capitalists. Listen to this.
Look, this is the way things, this is the agenda. This theory of a one world government has been around for a long time.
And a one world currency, I believe, too.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's...
Or payment system.
The IMF has already created its digital currency. They're keeping it, behind the drapery right now. But the pitch is that this will replace the dollar.
All right. Then there's this. Stablecoin legislation is ready to go. This is Kristen Smith from the Blockchain Association.
How might the November election flip that or change that or accelerate that? And then kind of what do we expect depending on that outcome next year? Again, maybe does it break down to we'll just get stablecoin if the Democrats win, or it's going to be market structure?
I think those are the two issues you just mentioned, stablecoin and market structure. Excuse me. Those are the
maybe just very briefly, why don't you define those two again? What exactly are the stablecoin bill and market structure? What might that entail?
No, so I would actually say broadly, there are three policy areas that are most interesting for Congress. The first is stablecoin legislation, and this goes back to 2019 when Facebook announced the Libra project. There's been a lot of interest in stablecoin, and the problem is there's not any regulatory framework in place for how to deal with stablecoins. They're so different than what we see in the traditional banking world today that those rules don't really apply. And this was a conclusion that not the industry came up with, but the President's Working Group, which is a working group of senior financial regulators, both in the Trump administration and again in the Biden administration, said, hey, we need to have some way to regulate so that when you have these centralized issuers of stablecoins, we know that those reserves are put in appropriate asset classes and that they're there, right? That there's audits and there's some standards around this. This just doesn't exist in federal law today. So putting that framework in place is something that should be relatively easy to do. It could actually happen in the lame duck, depending on how productive of a legislative session the lame duck being the period of time between the election and when the new Congress takes place. So basically the month of December. That is something that could be done in the lame duck, or I think it's something that could move fairly quickly, like Q1, Q2 next.
And why is that? Why would it move quicker than other things?
Because it's sort of an isolated issue that has been very well vetted. I would say in general, the legislative process is not something that happens in a couple weeks or a couple months. It takes, for something comprehensive, it can take up to 7-10 years to get a bill done, right? So if you look back to 2019 or heading into 2025, like this is something where there have been a dozen plus congressional hearings on stablecoin legislation. There have been drafts in both the House and the Senate. There have been a lot of ideas that have been publicly vetted and refined, and it's just kind of ready to go. It's not something that somebody just introduced yesterday. This is an issue that's been debated longer than any other issue. So we could see some movement on that.
Okay, and then let's see here. Oh, I wanted to check in on the Ripple stablecoin tracker here. 260,000 transferred to the Treasury to unknown wallet. 4.5 million transferred from the unknown wallet to unknown wallet. More transfers. There's some that's minted. 260,000. 4.5 million minted. I don't see any burned here recently. So anyway, any minute now, folks. Okay, I'm not going to play this because he's got music over it, but he's asking if XRP will start the altcoin season. When you start seeing these Bitcoin maxis getting all excited about XRP, it's a good sign. Now, you've all seen the video 1,000 times now. Here's what we're going to talk about in DAIXRP.com. That Bitcoin you got two options here with the 4 Satoshis. Either the U.S. government created Bitcoin, or they wanted to meet with the people that did create Bitcoin and try to take control of it and co-opt it. It was one of those two. I believe that they probably co-opted it. So anyway, in DAIXRP.com, I'm gonna show you what I think may have happened, and that it was who was trying to take control of it. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family. Away we go.